Good morning. Happy Saturday. Hope you're all well. I am Lyndsey. I am the founder here at Girl About Travel and the Girl About Travel Club. And we are here for another episode of the Holiday Lowdown live show every Saturday live at 10 a.m. where I bring a whole host of inspirational females in to chat to me about all things travel. Now, this week I have got a super special guest with me. Well, first of all, I've got Rebecca, Girl About Travel. She doesn't usually join us on a Saturday because she does her own little show on a Tuesday. But because we have such a special guest today, I wanted Rebecca to come in and chat to us as well. So this week has been quite major here at Girl About and in the Girl About Travel Club. That is because we have launched a really exciting partnership. And this partnership is with a business that just could not align any better with what we are all about here at Girl About Travel. And the business, the company, the organisation, the travel firm, the travel agency in question is a new business. I mean, they launched last year and they are called Charitable Travel. And Rebecca and I are joined this morning by the CEO of Charitable Travel and a travel industry veteran with over, I want to say probably, 25, 30 years, Melissa, experience?
Keep going.
Oh my goodness, no!
No, 10 years experience, 10 years, that's all.
We'll say over 30 years experience in the travel industry. Welcome this morning, Melissa Tilling. Hello, Melissa.
Oh my God, that felt like this is your life. What a great introduction, and I'm absolutely. I know. Where's the book? Where are all my friends?
No, we don't do books. We're all digital now. We don't do paper. It's all about the digital. So welcome, and it has been such an exciting week for me, and this has been, it's been sort of bubbling away, hasn't it, underneath, in the background for the last month or so. Whilst we've sort of, come to the agreement of how we're going to run this really exciting partnership, which we'll go into in a minute. But let's just start by chatting a little bit about you and your experience and your background in travel. So just give everybody a little bit of as I said, an overview of your background.
I certainly will. And firstly, thank you, Lyndsey. Thank you, Beck, for such a warm welcome to the community. I think I can speak for the whole Charitable Travel team and say we're absolutely delighted to be here, because I agree with you totally that our vision, our ethics, and the way that we look at our business really identifies with the sense of community that you've built up, which is absolutely incredible. So us.
You're gonna make me cry. Stop it.
All right. We need this footage. Don't smudge your mascara.
We definitely haven't been crying in the last month. We've been doing a lot of laughing and a lot of planning, haven't we? Which has been great. So my background, as Lyndsey alluded to, I started in the travel industry when I was 5. So obviously I'm still very young after 34 years. Now I've been in the industry for 34 years, mainly in tour operating, so it's involved in lots of different areas of the world: Europe, the Far East, the Middle East, Indian Ocean. And for the last 10 years before I set up Charitable Travel, I was managing director of a tour operator to America. So over that time, I'm just blessed to have had such an amazing career in travel, and I've seen so much of the world, and I've seen what travel does in a completely transformational way, in the way that it impacts developing economies, how it creates wealth, but not necessarily wealth in terms of riches, but in terms of income for communities that without tourism had very little. And that was a really sort of pivotal thinking for me about how travel is a force for good. It changes people's lives in both the places that you visit, but also obviously for the person going on holiday. It's incredibly restorative. And I think after this pandemic, we need a lot of restoration. Well, I certainly do. It's amazingly good for. I need a bit of colour, please. A bit of colour. It's amazingly good for mental health, but it extends beyond that. It extends to the mental health of the people who the industry creates employment for and income. And so, after 34 years in private enterprise, I had been thinking about the next stage in my career, and there was no way I was leaving the travel industry. It's some people call it a highly addictive drug, but it's a drug in the nicest way. You can't get out. I think you'll find you know the same, Lyndsey and Rebecca.
I think I got out for a year. We went travelling around the world, me and my husband, about 12 years ago, and I came back and I had a little dabble. I went to work for, of all things, an equity release firm. So essentially, people trying to get old people to sell the houses to them for 25% less than the work. It was highly depressing, and it was just, I lasted 6 weeks and went straight back.
Yeah. It's somewhat like being on a piece of elastic, isn't it? You get out, you try and get out, and it pulls you back.
And we're not in it for the money either, are we? We're in it for the love of the job. So we're not dragged back by the idea of being particularly wealthy either. So
I think it truly is the ultimate happy place.
Yeah, I agree with that, absolutely.
So I was thinking, I was thinking about how I could extend that whole travel for good mantra, and in my world, I don't have any kids. I've got cats, and forgive me if any of the 4 of them appear in the background. They're my babies, my fur babies. And I was thinking, well, it's all well and good if I set up my own travel company or to create one that was a private enterprise. But ultimately, as a private enterprise, what you're looking at doing is building up asset. You're looking after kids and beneficiaries and making sure that you've got a legacy to pass on. Without kids, which is an absolutely happy place for me to be. I'm very happy about that. I started looking into how could I do good on an ongoing basis rather than create a private enterprise that you can't take with you when you go, and you wait years to maybe make a legacy difference with the money that you've created. So I started looking into social enterprise, and after 34 years of working hard to make other people money, it was a real eye-opener to me to see what social enterprise actually meant. And I kind of thought, I don't know what you guys think, but I always thought social enterprise was about chickens and tie-dye. But
yeah.
it's like
of course, yeah.
For anyone watching, spell out what a social enterprise. Can you spell out what a social enterprise is for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So social enterprise takes quite a few different forms, but we're very fortunate in the UK that the government have defined it pretty well, because it would be very easy, and it's kind of buzzword to say, oh, you're a social enterprise. Well, what does that mean, as you say? And so I suppose the oldest type of social enterprise is a co-op. So your local co-op shop, what it does with its profit is it helps its staff and it helps its customers by giving back the profit to them. It's not a for-profit. And then you've got kind of mutual assurance societies, like building societies, which are probably the second oldest type. They do a very similar thing. They're not for shareholders, they're for the profit and for the customers. But the government felt there was a gap and created something called a community interest company, which is what we are. And what that does is it defines what you do with your profit in law. And effectively you replace having private shareholders with having the requirement to give your net profit as a business to charity. So even though I own Charitable Travel as a social enterprise, I can never take a dividend. I can get a salary, like even like charities do. That people work in charities, they have a salary, and it also requires you to have a social purpose. And our social purpose as Charitable Travel is to help our customers give to charity whenever they book travel, and to help charities create income from supporters booking travel, and it's regulated. So you have to submit that social purpose, and you have to submit your governing document to a regulator. He's a grandly named kick regulator, the CIC regulator. I never want to meet this person just in case I get kicked. But yeah, it's so really what it's about is it doesn't change what you do as a business. You can still go out there and do all the things a limited company can do, but ultimately you're setting as the owner in law and company law what you do with your profit.
Brilliant. It sounds
so I suppose it's a bit like I suppose John Lewis, that's sort of a social enterprise, isn't it? Sort of similar.
Yeah, the John Lewis Partnership, it absolutely distributes its profit to its team, and that in that sense, it's a cooperative.
So this is very new in the travel industry, isn't it? This is the first sort of social enterprise business, model of its kind. There's nothing like this being done before.
No, we're absolutely unique in the sense of what we do as a travel company. What you find is in overseas, you'll find maybe hotels or attractions or other things are set up as social enterprises where they are run for the good of their employees or for the local community. But there's nothing like us in the UK, and I haven't found anything like us anywhere else, where ultimately we've committed to create profit for good causes, not for ourselves. And that becomes a very personal decision. I'm no saint, but I've been very practical about what's the point in what we're doing. There is no point just squirreling away money. We might as well put it to good use.
Absolutely, yeah. And Melissa, let's talk about how that impacts you as a business and also us as a business as well, because obviously, we know ourselves, being, working in the industry, sometimes those profit margins can be pretty small, can't they? So tell us, what are we giving to charity through this partnership? Give us an idea.
So how it works, as you mentioned earlier, we've been operating for nearly a year now. We set up at the perfect time for a travel company at the beginning of a pandemic.
Yeah,
I'm certifiable. Yes, sorry, but I'm quite good, even though I'm certifiable. I'm quite lucid. So we set up in April, and it's been going really, really well. Given the lack of demand that there is, we've still taken bookings, we've still helped customers. But the way it works in a day-to-day basis is we're a travel agency, and the great benefit of being a travel agency is that apart from our licensing and our financial protection and the expertise of our team, we can draw on about 170 tour operators, all of whom have the CAA ATOL protection, and that's all kind of been an emotional thing, particularly over the last year, to make sure that everybody's money is safe. And so we do a lot of due diligence on all of our suppliers to ensure that they have the right compliance, the right ATOL regulation. But because it's 100, there's about 170, and we can tap into more, we can pretty much offer the world. So whether you want to go on a staycation to Cornwall, or whether you want to go on a cruise out of Southampton around the UK, or you want to go to Disney, or you want to go to pretty much anywhere, Papua New Guinea on a trek for the more adventurous of us. We have a really solid, reliable tour operator that we'll work with to create packages, either bespoke or if it's simple short break, we can deliver that. There's not much bespoking in that per se, but we can deliver that whole range of travel experience from a really reliable partner. And how we help a charity is basically we sacrifice commission. So I think it's well known. We used to be a funny thing. You can't talk about travel agency commission. You can't talk about how we make our money, but actually, it's well known that travel agents make a margin, and their margin is commission. And so what we do is we enable a charitable donation to be made by our customer and a Girl About Travel Club member to the charity of their choice. And to explain how that works, I'll I'll use a real simple maths example because I'm terrible at mental arithmetic. That's what calculators are for. And so imagine you're looking at going on a holiday, and that costs, and you come to us through the Girl About Travel Club, and we help you with your inquiry. Let's say you want to go to Croatia, for argument's sake, and so you might know exactly what you want when it comes to your holiday, and our job then is to find you the best price for that. So we'll take that and go to a variety of our trusted suppliers, and we'll get you the absolute best price from one of those suppliers, and we'll give you a quote. If you don't know exactly what you want, we have a team of now at this moment 10, but it's scalable up, where we can give personal recommendation if we have it, because within the team there'll be someone that's been most places, or we can research on your behalf to find the right hotel, the right resort, the right experience or tour that you might want to do, as you would expect from a reliable, experienced, independent travel agent. And then we'll come up at the end of that process, we'll come up with a price, and we quote you the price, and let's imagine that's £1,000. We do everything like a regular travel company would do in terms of the process. So if you're booking way in advance, which many people are for 2022 at the moment, we'd ask you for a deposit for your holiday. And again, using that £1,000 example, let's imagine it's £100 deposit. So you would pay that across to us in a normal way, credit card, debit card, backs if you needed to. And that goes into a trust account, because one of the other things that we were really cautious about, or saw very clearly, is that there was a lot of hoo-ha last year with travel companies fighting for survival, spending customers' money and not refunding it to them. Well, with us and with a growing number of travel companies now, but there should be more, we put your money into a trust account, which means that even if I wanted to get my grubby hands on your cash, I can't do that, because it sits in a trust account, and it only leaves the trust account to pay the tour operator the deposit. We get our money right at the end, after everybody's been paid.
So God forbid then one of these organisations in this chain was to go under, then that money is safe in that trust account. Is that correct?
Yeah, if it stays in our trust account and hasn't been passed to the tour operator, and the tour operator goes bust, God forbid, because that's horrible for the people that work there, then absolutely it's safe. It can be either reused to book with somebody else, or it can be refunded. If it's been passed to the tour operator, it's covered by the ATOL scheme. So that still kicks in, and that we are blessed in this country with having that scheme. Some people in the travel industry curse it, but actually for a consumer protection, it's absolutely brilliant, because you will get your money back, and they're pretty quick within reason at doing that.
And that's based on purchasing a package, so one transaction, flight and hotel together.
Correct.
Not separate transactions. It's really important, isn't it, that when the consumer purchases that holiday, it's done as a package in one transaction.
Yeah. A lot of the people that have got burnt because of the pandemic had been people that had booked multiple arrangements with with a hotel, with a ground handler, with an airline, and in some cases they got some of that money back. In other cases they didn't get that money back, because in that scenario, if a hotel in a country doesn't regard it as being impossible to come and stay, yet the airline regards it as impossible to fly, the hotel doesn't give you your money back, because they say unless they have grace and favour, they don't give you your money back. So you're
experienced a lot. We've had within our community. We've had when travel was almost a swear word. This time last year, just as the pandemic hit. We were sort of championing the consumers and certainly our audiences, and there were some absolute horror stories of women that had booked holidays pre-pandemic with, Love Holidays and, on the beach, and these other OTAs that we call them. And, there was all sorts of issues with, rocking up at hotels and them not actually being open, because I think what people don't realise is, when you book in with an organisation like that, they have absolutely no relationship with that hotel, and therefore they're relying on a chain of communication which has dropped because of furlough.
They can't cope with it.
Whereas with this business model, and I want to move on to this in a minute because it is really intrinsic into our partnership, we have those relationships, or you have those relationships with those tour operators, who then go on to have the relationships in a lot of cases with the hotels themselves, or with the experience. And I think it's really important to point out now that and talk a little bit about why this partnership is so it isn't just there's a link on the website, go and book the Charitable Travel. There's a lot more to what we're doing within this partnership to ensure that we are delivering as Girl About Travel Club what we promise to deliver. And one of those things is making sure that we are creating and curating itineraries. And when we talk about an itinerary, because a lot of people, we talk a lot of jargon, don't we? And I do get people saying, "What's an itinerary?" And an itinerary is essentially a step-by-step plan of your holiday. And it's probably going to be a holiday that's not a one-stop fly and flop. It might be a fly drive around Canada, for example, where you're staying in multiple hotels, and you might be going and doing a helicopter ride over Niagara, or you might be going and doing, a bit of whitewater rafting, whatever it might be. The itinerary is essentially what the travel agent or the tour operator puts together for you and prices up, or gives you a quote based on all of those components together. And it was really important for us when we started the travel club that we were basically putting together our own itineraries based on our own experience, that we could then go on to, to potentially, actually sell as a holiday. And we've been working so closely with you, Melissa, haven't we, to look at how we can best create these itineraries. And what we are doing is, we as Girl About Travel have actually selected from that pool of 170 tour operators that Melissa mentioned earlier. Many of which are very, very niche specialists, tailor-made tour operators, and are incredible at what they do and have incredible knowledge of the destinations that they feature. And again, a lot of the time with these types of tour operators that we're dealing with, it's not like a TUI or an EasyJet Holidays. They're specialists within a geographical location. So they may be a Canadian specialist, they may be a Far East specialist, an Australasia specialist. So we are working with these tour operators to build itineraries that will align with the content that we're putting out in the club, whether that be expert lives with an expert within the destination, whether it be something around our Saturday show. And that in itself is a lot of work, Melissa, isn't it? It's not just let's go and book a holiday.
Yeah, but I think it's intrinsic to what we. I think it's intrinsic to what we do. A good example of what you just said is that you and I are meeting with a ski specialist on Monday, and they are a niche specialist, great attention to detail, but that doesn't make them necessarily more expensive. It just makes them care more about, they're not a factory, they're they're more of a tailored workshop when it comes to creating travel. And to your point, within the 170, much as we can cover the world, I think it's about finding those gems and talking to those gems and presenting the itineraries or these experiences that give that point of difference, because we're not about commodity selling. If it was stack 'em high, sell 'em cheap, anyone can do that. I think what we are about as a collaboration between Girl About and Charitable Travel is offering to you as members something that is different, is special, is unique, but at the same time you're not paying over the odds to get that.
And there is a lot of controversy around, I hear it all the time. Oh, why would, travel agents, it costs more to book through a travel agent. But it doesn't, does it? It doesn't have to cost any more to book via a travel agent than it would direct with, Jet2 or whoever it might be.
I've been in the industry, as you've heard, for over 30 years, and every, it goes through phases of saying, oh my God, the travel agent is dead. There's no role for them anymore. And I really feel that there is a role for a travel agent to support the customer, to support you in making good decisions that fit with what you want to do, and offering financial protection. And the suppliers out there, the hotels, the airlines and so forth, they see that value too, and they enable us to have the same prices and to also receive our commission. And in our case, as I've said, we sacrifice some of that as well, half of it, to make that charitable donation. So I don't think travel agents are going to be gone, because they perform a role over so many areas of financial protection, advice, reassurance, accountability. I'm going to say something that you might think is a weird thing to say, but I cannot guarantee in 10,000 holidays that all 10,000, everything is going to be faultless. We all know that, let's be clear, but it's how you handle it if the little thing goes wrong or there's a little problem. And that's, again, a really important role of a responsible travel agent, picking responsible partners to deliver that holiday. It's how you overcome that issue so that ultimately it becomes a little road bump in the way and you still get a great experience.
Absolutely. And we are, I think, best. Sorry, Rebecca, go.
I was going to say, Melissa, let's just go back to your mental arithmetic for actually spelling out how the commission and how the charity donation. I want to hear the rest of it.
So our Croatia example, so you paid your deposit. At that point, where we are completely unique is that we offer you as the customer the opportunity to donate 5% of your holiday price to the charity of your choice. And you'll come on to talking about some charities that we've looked at in a little while.
I've got a few questions. I've got a few people asking which charities are we supporting. We'll get onto that, we promise, in a minute. Don't yet.
So you can give 5% to the charity of your choice. The way that happens is that we send you an email and a link that takes you to our special Just Giving site. And it's something that we've developed with the leading name in charitable donations. They helped Captain Tom, RIP, raise over 35 million through that platform. And you go off and you pick your charity. You would have told us who that is. And in the case of £1,000, that means you're donating £50 to the charity of your choice. It goes directly, so it's super transparent. It's not like I'm saying, or we're saying, 5% of your holiday price will go to a charity, and you're thinking, really, are they going to do that? But you're making that donation directly, exactly, to the charity of your choice. And the reason we went with the Just Giving platform, apart from it's very comprehensive and it's super easy to use, many of you I'm sure have already used it, we get a message back from Just Giving when you've made that donation, and this is where the magic happens. We will reduce the price of your holiday from £1,000 down to £950, so that at the end of the process you haven't paid any more money to support a charity of your choice, because you've got a cheaper holiday. And we do that by sacrificing half of our commission as a social enterprise, because our job, weird as it might sound, is that our job is not to make a profit. Our job is not to make a loss, but at the same time, as a social enterprise, to make tons of money for charity.
And I think it's important at this point as well to point out that obviously, Girl About, we are trying to build a business at the moment. Obviously, it's been tough in the last year with COVID, but we could have chosen to have gone with another partner to supply our members with their holidays and work with them, at which point we probably could have negotiated a small amount of commission as well, for being, you know, the driver of that booking, for being the promotional website, whatever you want to call it. We have also chosen not to, you know, make any money at all from this, because we really do believe that it's such a fantastic idea. You know, for Girl About, it aligns with everything that we're about. It's a really purpose people driven brand. And for us both to be able to come out of this pandemic as business women and to be able to form this partnership and change the way that, you know, travel can work, it just fills me with utter joy. It really does. It's just so heartwarming.
Yeah, it's been an amazing journey for us. You know, coming from a place where, you know, I was running an 81 million turnover business that was supporting faceless people in some venture capital organisation somewhere, God knows who, to actually having really meaningful conversations with our charity partners, and seeing what a difference a donation of £50 that they wouldn't have got, that hasn't cost our customers any money, but it hasn't cost them any money, what kind of a difference that makes.
And if you and just to put this into perspective, I mean, I know we talked about, you know, £1,000 holiday in Croatia, but, you know, before Christmas we were, you know, helping some of our members with quotes for, you know, 10 grand Maldives holidays. I mean, that's £500. My maths is pretty shocking. £500 that you are donating to charity. That's an incredible amount of money, isn't it? That you would have otherwise paid to another tour operator or travel agency for that holiday.
And the shareholders think,
yeah, the shareholders are on their yachts somewhere in the Med or the Caribbean, rubbing their hands whilst us mere minions are working every hour God sends to try and do what fills us with passion, which is sell holidays, promote travel ourselves, and just help people and try and make the world a better place.
The really exciting thing on these itineraries, Lyndsey, and I totally agree with you, is that we have the opportunity to then look at the experiences and the itineraries and and what we put forward, to look at places and holidays that actually also give back to the communities in which you're traveling to. So we have then a multiple opportunity of giving 5% to the charity that you care about, and then being able to track and see how that impacts the local community that you're traveling to. That kind of multi-layered impact.
And would it be? I mean, I've got all sorts of crazy ideas, you know, already. You know,
No, I can't believe you've got crazy ideas. No,
I've got visions of, like, you know, like Girl About female only, you know, group trips to Cambodia, and, you know, places where we can actually go and help build a school, or, you know, and help children. That there's so much potential.
I went to Morocco year before last, and went to a women's cooperative argan oil place, and I was just thinking, that's a cooperative. It would be amazing to arrange a trip that went to Morocco and then actually supported something like a women-only cooperative of farming argan oil and creating different cooking oils and beauty products.
And it's just, I mean, that is, when it becomes not just about the donation, but about us actually physically being able to help and I don't know about you, but over the last year of lockdown, I mean, I live to travel. I'm not bothered about cars and handbags and all of that. I'd much rather spend my money on taking my kids somewhere and going and having an amazing adventure. And the last year has just made me realise I don't need anything else. And to be able to go on those types of trips and be able to help women whilst, having this brand in partnership with Charitable Travel that, has the potential to be such a good force, or force for good, is such a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and we're absolutely delighted.
I think there might be a little tear in a minute. Anyway, Maureen, let's talk about, before I well up and burst into tears, all this emotion I'm feeling right now, about the Travel Club and what we're doing and the charities that we're supporting. Because as Melissa mentioned, we as the Girl About Travel Club have selected 5 charities that we feel really align with our purpose, obviously all female led, and we will have those charities slapped everywhere, and we will be hopefully forming relationships with those charities, but that doesn't mean that you can't book through a charity of your you can't donate to a charity of your choice. You can donate to any charity as long as they're registered and they're on the Just Giving website. That's correct, isn't it, Melissa?
Absolutely right. Yeah, and for a charity, let's say you support a charity that isn't on Just Giving, it actually is free to join. So that it's not really a barrier.
Yeah. So, Rebecca, tell us the charities that we are supporting.
So the 5 charities we're going for are, and we had a lot of discussion about this, didn't we? But anyway, we've
there's a lot back and forth. We won't go there.
Only 23 pages to the website.
So many charities out there.
Hey, but let's just say it's a big decision. I think to pick charities when you're trying to distill such amazing causes down to 5 that really resonate. We were happy, and my colleagues Ali and Rosie were happy to make 23 changes to the website to get things right.
This partnership should have launched 2 weeks ago. It's only because I've been funning around with bloody charities all week that
No, so we have settled on, we would love to support the Young Women's Trust, which supports women aged 16 to 30 who are struggling to live on low or no pay. IMCAN, which is a women's organisation dedicated to addressing violence against Black and minoritized women and girls. ActionAid, which is an international charity working with the poorest women and girls across the world. Refuge supports women, children and men who are experiencing domestic violence, so it helps provide refuge and support and resources for them. And lastly, our last charity is Bloody Good Period, which works to make sure that nobody nobody in poverty can't get hold of medical products, sanitary towels. So yeah, they're the 5, and they're all focusing on sort of supporting women from the roots up, from the grass up, and just sending a really powerful message of support, hopefully to empower people, women.
We've been
I want some of those bins here at HQ that you get when you go into John Lewis. Sorry, not John Lewis. Waitrose. With the green tokens that you can stick in. Which charity do you want to support?
Yeah. We're not supporting, because there is so much more. But that's the great thing as well, that we're offering. You can also choose your own charity, but they are the 5 that we are backing and supporting. So yeah,
absolutely.
We've already been talking to that panel of charities, and there's a really positive reaction from the charities. They're delighted at the link between the community at Girl About all the way through to the philanthropy of supporting those causes. And Lyndsey and I have got a couple of meetings lined up with the CEOs and the heads of those charities, and I'm hoping that we can get some of them to come on to lives in the future to really explain the difference that they make. But as you say, if you're booking a £5,000 holiday, that makes without extra cost a £250 donation to a charity that's really making a difference.
We've just got a comment here. I don't know who you are, because you're not giving StreamYard permission, but that's fine. I'm going to read it out anyway. I'm an elected councillor and lead member for Women in Leeds, and made sure Leeds was the first city to provide free sanitary products for women and girls. Would be very interested to look at how we can work together to promote your charities and safe travel for women. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know who you are, but I'll reach out. We'll be in touch. Yeah, because there's lots of comments about what an amazing a partnership this is, and how what we're doing is essentially fab, which we absolutely agree it is. It's brilliant and fabulous and inspiring on so many levels. And I think this is, we've both as travel businesses come out of the other end of COVID, and we know that this is just the start, isn't it, of something that is so exciting and so worthy on so many levels.
I was going to add one thing about.
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Liz on our team is going to be the Girl About point person. So when you make your inquiry, either for one of the bespoke itineraries that are being put together, or for your general inquiries. It'll go through to one person, initially, Liz, who has got just tons. She's amazing. She's got tons of years of experience in putting together great travel. And so, yeah, we'll hopefully have Liz coming on soon so that
we'll get Liz on. I mean, there's a picture of in the Girl About Travel Club with the not the orangutans, with the silverbacks in Africa. I mean, she's been to some incredible places, and we'll definitely get her on to chat. I think it's also worth pointing out, if we do have any VIP Travel Club members on, that Liz will be delivering a more high touch sort of concierge service approach to our VIP members. So that's just important for you guys as well. But I mean, equally, whether it's Liz or any of your call centre, I think we know that we're all in safe hands, and we've got probably over 60 years of travel industry expertise between us, and bring Liz into the equation, it must be nearly 100. That's a lot. It sounded good. I'm trying to get to 100.
I think 75 would be stretching it.
Yeah. I've got 20. What have you got back? You must have.
Nearly 20, yeah.
We're nearly there, I reckon. So nearly 100, over 75 years of travel industry experience. And between us, I mean, Melissa, how many countries have you visited?
Oh, don't ask me that. I can tell you some other. I've been to Thailand 66 times.
You're a Thailand specialist. That's a lot of Thailand.
I know. I've been to 37 of the US states. That's
really important to point out right now, because for anybody that doesn't know how the Travel Club works, that might be tuning in, that's not actually in the Travel Club yet, which you should be, because right now it's actually free to join for a limited time only. So you can go and join at girlabout.co.uk for free right now. How it works is we focus on a part of the world or a specific way of traveling every quarter. So for the last 3 months, we've been focusing entirely on staycations, which has been great. And it's probably important just to point out as well that you can book staycations through Charitable Travel, and you can give your 5% via Charitable Travel. And we'll be putting some offers and stuff in the club moving forward. But as of the 1st of April, for 3 months, we're going to be focusing on the US of A. As Melissa pointed out, we're not the type of travel brand where you're probably going to come and book flying flop for traveling next week. Not that you'd be traveling next week right now, but my point is we're really focusing on inspiring you for 2022 with those great big trips. So we're going to be doing a big focus on the USA. There's going to be 14 weeks of itineraries of getting under the skin of the USA. We're going to have women from across the USA coming in to chat to us live. We're going to have travel experts that can get really, deep into some of these states. We're going to have our own directory. We're going to build a directory of 50 incredible places to stay across the states. We won't be doing too much of the obvious. We'll be doing a little bit of Disney, but for the most part, we will be going to those states that we know not really a great deal about. So Melissa,
Montana, Arizona, we've got those already lined up, and they just look fantastic. So yeah, big open space.
Sounds like a fab opportunity to share my holiday snaps again.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be pretty much every day. Don't worry. But again, just because we are focusing on that in the Travel Club, that doesn't mean to say that, of course, you can't just go and book your fly and flop with Melissa and Charitable Travel at any point. You can absolutely do that. And we will be putting, as I said, offers in the club on a weekly basis, I'm hoping, so that we can tempt you with all sorts of great travel experiences and holidays, and also allow you to donate your 5% to charity when you book your next holiday via this partnership.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it, really?
It is a total no-brainer, isn't it? Absolutely. Melissa, thank you so much. That was incredible. We're super excited for this. We're going to be really shouting from the rafters as of now, really, about this partnership moving forward. So, Rebecca, thank you for giving up your time this morning, even though you left us for a swift couple of minutes there.
4-year-old daughter, sorry.
If you need any more information at all about our partnership with with Charitable Travel or about the Girl About Travel Club, you can go to our website at girlabout.co.uk, and we hope to see you in the Travel Club. If you are not already there, goodbye, ladies. Happy Saturday. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.